Now, of course, I talked about Back to the Future, and I decided to talk a few more John Carpenter films, including, of course, Escape from New York, which I know at one point they wanted John Carpenter to cast Charles Bronson to be Snake Plissken, but John Carpenter felt he was too old, and he had worked with Kurt Russell on Elvis the movie. I really wanted, and Kurt Russell gave a great performance. It's not my favorite performance. This one is. Jap Bird and the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there. I'll talk about this later. But what more can I say about Escape from New York? I mean, from the opening where you get the badass soundtrack once again by John Carpenter. Do do do. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, even I think you have Jamie Lee Curtis doing the opening where it's her voice talking about the fact that New York's been turned to a maximum security prison. And that's one thing I love about the movie. It's a great idea. New York, a city like that being turned to a fucking prison. Wow. That's a neat sci-fi idea. Although I remember the first time I saw this was on video cassette, and I hadn't seen much footage on it. I just, on the cover of the videotape, probably the poster too, is you have the head of New York. New York. New York doesn't have a head, dipshit. The head of the Statue of Liberty. And there's a firefight. I went, oh my god, that's going to be a kick-ass scene. I thought, first time I saw this, I'm a dumbass. I'm a WB dumbass. I thought there was going to be a fight around the head of a Statue of Liberty. That it would be on the ground, there'd be a fucking fight around it. I thought, wow, that's badass. It really shows. And then, of course, first watching, I'm going, oh, Statue of Liberty has her head. And I guess that's not going to happen. I'm like, fuck. Maybe in the remake. Fuck that. But maybe I'll mention that too in this review. But I already did, but I mean, talk about more. Everybody knows the story. I mean, Snake Plissken is a badass motherfucker, and they give him a choice. They inject the shit in, and they go, the president is shot down. You have 24 hours or whatever. Get the president, get the hell out of Dodge with him and this tape, and we'll take this shit out. That if you don't, they'll kill you. And basically, Kurt Russell gets into New York and tries to find the president. What makes this film work, like I said, the story. It's a great story. Although, yes, I know, it's weird because the future of this is 1997, which is now fucking 13 years later. Folks who are into sci-fi movies, who are writing them, don't put a fucking date, because you don't limit yourself and make yourself out to be a fool. Even Demolition Man. LA is a hell-bent world in 1996. And it's like, well, it's 14 years later, and LA's bad, but not that bad. Don't put a fucking date. You don't need it. But, it's weird watching, 1997, yeah, no, fuck it. But that's not nearly enough to hinder the movie. I mean, the cast is a big reason. I'll talk about Kurt Russell, because save the best for last, but Lee Van Cleef, as the guy who sort of gets Kurt Russell and to get the hell into New York, which is nice that they have Lee Van Cleef and Kurt Russell sort of looking at them and go, man, I have Lee Van Cleef, I gotta do my best Clint Eastwood impression. You got Ernest Borgnine, who's the cab driver, a very likable character, eager to please and help Snake, but also a little bit of a coward. I love Donald Pleasance as president. You're the Duke. You're A#1. Especially at the end when he goes batshit crazy and he escapes. And Isaac Hayes, who's no longer with us, he plays, of course, the Duke of New York, so the leader of the gangs. You have Adrienne Barbeau as Maggie, who is a tough girl, but like, sorry. Adrienne Barbeau in this movie, And Harry Dean Stanton is Brain, who Adrian Barbeau is very protective of, and he's sort of like his name says, he helps the Duke and stuff with, brainy stuff. Gasoline, all sorts of supplies. Who had once known Snake and fucked him over, and I think in Cleveland. They mention that a lot. And of course, everybody remembers there's a deleted scene that they have on this 2-disc where Snake Plissken is with a partner, and it sort of explains why Snake's a little bit pissed off, even more so that, he's about ready to escape, but he doesn't want to leave his friend behind, and his friend gets just shot down, and of course now that's how he gets arrested. But I mean, great cast, and I was talking about Donald Pleasence. I love at the end where, he kills the Duke. He's like, "You're the Duke. You're the Duke. You're the Duke. You're A number 1." I love Donald Pleasence going batshit crazy. And I was talking about, of course, Kurt Russell. This is the role that he's going to be known for forever. I do love Jack Burton more, but you can't deny the badassness of Snake Plissken. The eye patch, the Clint Eastwood voice. He's tough. He's anti-heroic at best. Like the scene where he's searching for the president. He sees a girl being basically fumbled around and going to be raped. He's like, "Oh, not my problem." And he keeps walking. So it's not that he's the goody two-shoot, not at all. And you have that one guy who's also in They Live. We're going to see if they have the name of him. Butt Flower, that's his name. George Butt Flower. He was also in The Fog. He's in They Live. And he finds the bracelets, like, "Mr. President?" It's like, obviously not. He's like, "Yeah, President. Yeah, I'm the president. I knew if I had this, I'd be president." I don't know. I just great moments like that. And